Hey, what is up guys, this is TAZEDMOUSE and we are back with some Detective Grimoire Tangle Tower. We are in the workshop now and...
Sir?
Pierre? I don't remember his name.
Can you hear me?
He's been mentioned
Detective
before.
Grimoire. I have some questions for you.
Grimoire. Good mysterious name. I'd rather like it. Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
And, this is my colleague, Sally.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good name as well.
Thanks.
If you would, Mr. Fellow, we really need to ask you about the murder.
Well, I must say I'm rather jealous of you two.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Out here solving mysteries, exploring new places, uncovering secret rooms, hidden treasures. That's what life is all about.
Secret rooms?
Generally speaking,
I've been recording this
that
series
sort
now
of
for
thing.
this is like my third episode, and like I haven't even named like the first two. I haven't even like edited that. No, the first one I did, not the second one.
So, Felix,
I like
what
this
exactly
music
do
right
you
It's very upbeat.
do?
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer/treasure hunter. Yes, well, best in the world.
We're talking like curse statues, spike pits.
It's a little more sophisticated than that. But I've certainly seen my share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen here.
No.
I may be between ventures right now, but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the Fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is...
Nothing wrong with raising a family, Mr. Fellow.
So
Don't
that's
misunderstand
Flora
me.
is his wife.
Fiona and Flora are my entire world. They are the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here?
Ah, right. Nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help, but I wish you all the best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm sure you're up to it.
There's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, working on a project.
Your room is quite close to Flora's tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you
Especially in
got?
this place.
It was dusk. A feeling lingered in the air. Malevolent, perhaps. Uncertain, as life itself.
Abridged version, please.
Right, fine. I heard someone heading
Sounded
down
really
the
shutting
stairs, just outside my room. The footsteps were calm, orderly, so I thought nothing of it. Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps, going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below. Didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case, but it was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora, too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me. Dearest Flora, a remarkable woman. Oh, yes. Been married over 20 years now.
You two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of 3. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know. You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
My daughter Fiona, our little burgeoning genius.
Oh, that's Fiona.
You've met her?
We did. She's going by Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her. Fitz? I don't trust him. He's slippery. Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Did you two have an argument?
No, but my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman. Poppy's a good friend to my daughter. Always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different like how?
Poppy is, she's quite introspective, good with feelings. Fiona...
Felix is definitely observant.
Not so much. Still, Poppy always seems to be sulking about something.
The heavy, heavy price of emotional intelligence.
Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger. Always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle, and he really only makes time for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her marriage. It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile. Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
How are you related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look at it.
What about
will
her
have to take a look at
inheritance?
that.
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower. Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard on the grapevine, supposedly Hawkshaw is searching for some rare item, something called the Golden Beetle. Honestly, it's probably a bunch of sensationalist rubbish.
You reckon?
Quite sure. There is no treasure called the Golden Beetle.
How do you know?
Because I would have heard of it. Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, is less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it? What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
That looks like it might belong to Poppy. Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go?
Can you tell us the symbols?
Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall. It would have been a beautiful painting. It's rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange, aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical accuracy.
What about the knife in Flora's hand?
A knife? That's what you see?
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes. Hard to say exactly what we're looking at.
Does Flora normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules to live by.
Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do. Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise. That looks like it might belong to Fitz. Now this is still in very good condition. Apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence. Cunning. Bizarre things, aren't they? Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Wait, do we just have the
Come now,
birds with
I'm
us?
sure they could leave if they really wanted to. Where did you find that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd. My daughter Fiona and her best friend. They grow up so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea.
I
Freya
feel like he
was
doesn't.
quite the talent. She had a way of capturing the spirits of her subjects. Not in an evil way, in a good way. That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. Why would someone lock up a book like that?
We think it's a secret diary.
Aha! Teenagers are funny, aren't they? I've never seen that before. Looks valuable.
Puffer fish?
Yes, It's also a lamp, for some reason. Nice. A real treasure chest.
How do you know there's treasure in there?
Why else would it be locked? Plus, there's a treasure map hanging. That's done it.
Neat.
That was completely random. I have no idea how.
What was in the box?
It took me a while to do.
More wooden models. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
Dude.
A little hand-painted statue.
How can you tell it's hand painted?
Well, the paints are right there. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
It's a barometer, but it's broken.
I've never seen a barometer that wasn't broken.
What is it?
He's an imp.
What does he do?
Well, if you tell too many lies, he appears at the end of your bed in the middle of the night.
Oh.
Shelf junk.
An old...
Probably cursed.
Ah, you found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit. It turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people.
This should be crap.
I've been carving
So
for a couple
I don't
of
know
years
if my
now.
connection to the mic problem
I was
is coming
hopeless when I
from
started, but
the
it
micro
didn't take me
USB
long to
itself.
master it,
Or the
as you
regular
can
USB
see.
on my computer. I thought it was.
Do you
my
paint them
regular
yourself,
one,
too?
but I'm
I
starting
do
to think
indeed,
that
yes. Freya
from
kindly
my,
taught me the basics.
micro USB.
Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course, I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that.
There's something about Felix's something.
Let's ask him about it.
There's something about the image of Flora in the painting. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it. A little hand-painted statue.
How can you
well,
tell?
also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs. Let's take a closer look at this. Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced
Yeah,
with
those are the same.
Felix's red paint
That one's
pot.
is the same
But
as
Freya
hers.
noticed what has happened. Almost. Maybe just Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
But it's not paint.
This red paint pot contained no red paint after Freya used it to paint Flora. Nope. This red paint pot contained no red paint before Freya used it to paint Flora. That's not right. This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right. Fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint.
So I decided
There
to
was
cut
a
my
certain
arm
amount
off,
of time
drain all the blood
pressure.
from my body,
So I
and use it as paint.
politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know. Perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
It's a birdhouse.
Are those real birds? Nope.
They're using up all the perches. What if a real bird wanted to use it?
What am I looking for here?
Nope.
There must be some logic to how the bird, something to do with those white lines.
Wait, what? I'm not understanding, actually.
Nothing.
I think the birds are related to each other.
I guess that's wrong.
It's a family tree. The colors and eyes combine as they go down the family line. You'll need to start with blue and yellow at the top.
No, that was it.
Nice work.
Yeah, okay. That makes more sense now. But it doesn't, never said anything about color.
Did the door open?
No, get her. Ooh, okay.
That's some flower.
There's something weird about it. It just feels out of place.
A little tea set. Looks recently used.
One of the cups has tea in it.
What's in the other one?
Birdseed. A little bedtime
Let's
reading.
see. Romance novels, detective novels, and
What?
this one appears to be both.
Nice.
Is that foreshadowing to you two?
Ever get the feeling you're being watched?
The mannequins don't have eyes, though.
That's not a comforting sentence. That's a big window. Traveling cases.
Empty. All of them.
Traveling cases.
Empty. All of them.
A big glass door leads out into a garden.
There's a little mechanism by the hand.
Okay. So now we figure out how to get. We just figured it out. Doesn't take a genius. Could do this with a napkin.
I guess we'll come back later.
Oh, that's what we could ask Frey last time. We'll come back to her on it.
It's locked.
I thought we were.
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
This is what I have.
It made a noise.
I guess that was right. And the door's still locked.
I still feel like we made some sort of progress.
We did. Actually. Let's go back to Poppy's room.
A big glass leads out.
There's a little mechanism.
Something happened.
That must be it. Finally, it's open.
Whatever's on the other side better be
We'll be right out there soon.
a single red rose. How very traditional.
Yeah, weird. More handwritten sheet music. More handwritten sheet music.
Just a bunch of clothes. Nothing weird about that.
To you.
To you. Whoa.
Anything in the wardrobe?
Dresses mostly. I never realized there are so many shades of black.
There's a name for this kind of piano. You know, these ones that stand
An
upright.
upright piano.
Sheet music. Presumably for piano.
It's only a few notes. I'd
Yeah,
barely.
it's been framed though. Must be important for some reason. various handmade posters.
What do you think those symbols mean?
Hopefully, nothing.
That's one big dragonfly.
Or one very small dragon. It's another little statue, doing a really bad job of hiding in the bushes.
He's playing a lute this time.
He's also wearing headphones.
Well, they're not part of the
so
statue.
surprised by that.
And they're not headphones. They're earmuffs.
Find 3 statues of a certain amphibious creature. Oh, is that? It's supposed to be swampy. I found 3 of them. What? I did it? Oh, okay.
A little pond.
It looks really, really deep for some reason. See those metal bars around the edges too?
Oh yeah. What are you supposed to...
Nothing anymore. Looks like somebody broke them and then never bothered to fix it.
Oh, this probably wasn't the aquarium I was selling from before.
Giant stone frog? Love it.
Ah, he's got his tongue out like he's catching snowflakes.
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
Penelope might know what those are.
You know, I've always wanted one of those.
A mechanical solar system? What would you do with it?
I would look at it.
Ah, now there it is.
No, that was it.
Nice work. Did you hear that?
There's a little hatch on
A bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
The golden beetle. To those who seek offshore.
A picture frame.
With no picture.
It's tidier than my den. The notebook is untouched.
So, even the most well-used notebooks start off blank.
A spyglass to the stars.
They're in very good condition.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet, and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Could this speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality, as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
Is that his hat, his hair, or a book?
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And, of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh, no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh, dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return, nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the cosmos I say hi.
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to
How
Freya.
did they get food on this
Quite.
island?
Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening. I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
That makes sense, actually.
A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of a dead end. He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune. That is, if he hasn't already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're the best of friends.
The sarcasm.
Ah yes, the heiress of Tangle Tower. Goodness knows what'll happen when she takes charge. I dare say she'll confiscate my telescope and replace it with a microscope.
She doesn't seem to be the type to impress her will on others.
Still, keep an eye on her. Dangerously intelligent, that one.
You sound jealous. Wait, are you two science rivals?
Oh no, we operate on very different wavelengths. Literally. Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you. Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth. My daughter loved her. Fiona, too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did. What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
What happened to his parents, do you know?
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was short-lived. I don't especially want to talk about myself. Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter instead?
I'm not sure if we have time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
83.
Yeah, we don't have time.
Ah, Penelope, our resident ornithologist.
Penny's your niece, is that right?
At this moment in time, until she marries the gardener.
She'll still be your niece.
But she'll depart from the world of the Pointers and join the Fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship. My Poppy, my pride and joy. Exceptionally talented pianist from a young age. She... Hold on. Why is she on your list of suspects?
Because she's a suspect.
Oh, no. I can personally vouch for her innocence. She'd never... Well, the truth is, she loved Freya very dearly.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Poppy's mother?
Primrose? She was Flora's sister, a Remington by birth. The playing field has never really been even since she left.
Where did she go?
Away. She went away.
There's something about Hawkshaw's something.
Let's ask her about it. That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.